Well, hello there, everyone. My name is Adam, and welcome back to Golden Sun. Last time, we had just arrived in what Kraden proclaimed to be the heart of Sol Sanctum. It's certainly a very mysterious place, and as we come over here, Kraden is once again shocked. And as he points out, there's a moon in the center, picture of Luna. Must symbolize night. Well, day and night are sort of connected, so I guess these rooms being connected also does make some sense. Luna and Sol. Obviously, these rooms must have some secret to them. But what could it be? Well, we'll go and take a look further up and see what we find. Meanwhile, Kraden will be using his old man powers to just stand around here and not really be useful. So let's continue on and see what we can find. In here we find rather a lot of shiny rocks. But while we're here, let's go ahead and heal up a little bit. A Psynergy stone will fully restore the party's synergy points, but it will immediately shatter afterward. Now, that's not very useful right now, but later on it will be. Now, over here we have an interesting sight. What's all this about? I wonder. Well, we can't do anything with that. And what about these? Oh, that doesn't sound good. But Kraden realizes we must have found something. But it doesn't seem like a very good thing, whatever we found. So he rushes up to inform us that we made an oopsie. Of course, we're apparently none the wiser of this fact. But this whole thing is very interesting. Moving a statue caused whatever the heck that was to happen. But it is rather obviously, now that we've seen it in action, some kind of trap or other. It doesn't exactly sound very good, or pleasant. Kraden tells us to go look in the Luna room if we want to understand. Now, I've never actually set off this trap before, so I have to admit, I'm not entirely sure what happens, or what we'll find in the room. So, now, this is a good question. Why would anyone put a trap here? But obviously it must be that because they've hidden something very important. Or maybe they're just trying to protect something. And of course, Kraden jumps the entire arsenal rather than just the gun by suggesting they've hidden the key to alchemy itself. Should he tell us more? Sure, why not? Let's get educated. But he decides not to because he doubts we can understand it. But we probably should try to find an explanation for all this, even if Garrett isn't the happiest. But Kraden seems to have some idea at least of what's going on here. Although Jenna suggests trying to figure it out for ourselves. But, as I said before, I'm curious. What exactly happens down here in the Luna Room? Nothing, it seems. But as you might notice, that mysterious curtain of light seems to be gone. Curious. Very curious indeed. Oh well, let's head back upstairs and actually solve this puzzle. So, we push the obviously movable statues, and they also shine light. Very curious indeed. We push this one up here. Come on now, Isaac. And as it shines light over, it makes a hole in the floor. Interesting. And now if we come over here, we can use our move synergy to drop this statue into the hole in the floor. Something clicked. Interesting. I wonder what that did. Let's go see if anything changed. It doesn't look like it. Do you have anything to say, old man? No, of course not. So, that really leaves us with only one thing that we can do. Not going back downstairs, but that thing that we can do is coming up here and moving these statues again. And this time, when the light shines and changes the center glyph there, it doesn't make the entire sanctum go berserk. It does, however, cause something rather interesting to happen. As you can see, the light is shining on the center platform here, and it's also changing the platform in the other room there, as well as on the floor above. And Garrett will explain how the hole in the floor appeared. And of course, Isaac just did what anyone would do. When there's a round hole that suddenly appears, and a statue with a large round object on top of it sitting right next to it, who wouldn't drop the statue in the hole? And it seems the statue puzzle was the trap. And the other statue was here to disarm the trap. Curious. Very curious indeed. But now that it's disarmed, we should be alright. And of course, Kraden will observe from the Luna Room, where it's safe. We'll handle the rest. Naturally, of course, by observe, Kraden means stand around and do nothing. And leave all the work to us. I know he's an old man and probably not in very good shape, but still. Who's the trained and well-knowledged alchemy sage here? And who's just a bunch of teenagers that are his apprentices or students or something of the like? And as you can see, the emblem of Luna has now changed to Sol. And over here, the emblem of Sol has changed to Luna. And as we saw below, the emblem of Luna in the Luna Room where Kraden was slowly changing to Sol. And now, of course, it has completely changed to Sol. But of course, other than that, nothing really seems to have changed. They went to all that trouble to put a trap here, and it doesn't seem like anything really happened. Of course, something else must have changed. So, let's go look for it. there's only one place we can really go, and coming over here to the Sol room, we see it's also changed from Sol to Luna. And what's more, it seems to be emitting a laser from the center point toward the wall up here. Curious. Very curious. And when we examine it... oh dear. This has to be it. Kraden is, if nothing else, optimistic. Naturally, we go first. Heading right in through the mysterious portal that could lead to unknown danger. But, thankfully, it doesn't seem as if it does lead to danger. And it just leads to... whatever this place is. As you can see, everyone is quite stunned and confused. I think I would be too. And of course, Kraden uses his miraculous old man powers to ask questions before he's even arrived and seen what's going on. And then he asks a very odd question. This doesn't look like the ocean, and I know it's probably a limit of the Game Boy Advance's sound system, but it certainly doesn't sound like the ocean either. So, it leads me to believe Kraden is just playing dumb, because, as he points out himself, the ocean has waves. But Garrett asks a very Garrett question. Now, this may seem like a very stupid question, but remember, Garrett, as well as Isaac and Jenna, are from the town of Vale, which is, as you may have noticed, a small town at the base of a mountain. And as you will see when we go out on the world map later, it is nowhere near the ocean. But Kraden helpfully supplies an answer. It is a thing of endless water at the edge of the world. How descriptive. But we wouldn't understand, apparently. But it's fine, because someday he'll show it to us himself. What a fine promise that is. I'm sure we all look forward to it immensely. The elemental stars again. He mentioned those before, and now he appears to be quite excited indeed. And of course, as we've already established, the elements are the foundation of all matter. Stones, wood, even people. All things are made from those four base elements. You got it mostly right, Garrett. I'll give you that one. As has been said many times before, the elements are the source of all matter. Earth, water, fire, and wind. These are the four elements. Legend holds that the four elemental stars contain the purified essence of each element. And now, it seems, those legendary stones are right in front of us. The Venus Star, the elemental stone of Earth. Mercury Star, possessing the power of water's many forms. Yes. Of course. There's the Mars Star, glowing red with the fire contained within. And Jupiter Star, bound with the wind's fury. Now, this is a good question. Why is Kraden getting so excited? And of course, he also has a good question. How can they be so calm in the face of such wonders? We're looking at the very source of all alchemy, after all. No, he actually hasn't told us all this before. But it really must be a lot to take in. And something else now, the Wisdom Stone. The stone that dominates everything. Can transmute crude matter into gold, even thwart death itself. I think we have some idea now. The study of alchemy, it seems, began with the search for that very stone. And even if we don't understand it entirely, it's quite clear to see that they have enormous power. And Kraden exemplifies that with just a single gem, one could conquer the entire world. It does paint a pretty clear picture. That is quite powerful. Garrett, of course, doesn't think Kraden's being serious. Because conquering the world is just ridiculous. And Kraden, of course, has to be mysterious. But that's why he's been searching for the elemental stars. Because he wants to learn the truth about these stones. And now, they're right in front of him. Whoa! Easy there, old man. He's sad. We're sad. Jenna's angry. Because it looks slippery. But he has to examine the elemental stars. Jenna has an idea. Make the boys do it. Would we mind? Well... when we're put on the spot like this, what can we really say? Yeah, I guess we can go do it. Of course, of course. Anything for you, Jenna. And we'll need this, apparently. It's the things that Kraden brought from his cottage. Some strange bags. Apparently they're made of woven threads of mithril. What's that? And somehow or other, Kraden was able to prepare these bags for just such an occasion. And now we're going to go fetch the elemental stars and put them in these bags. Somehow or other, this doesn't seem like the best idea. If the elemental stars really are the foundation of all alchemy, which is the foundation of Psynergy, and if we're assuming that things get less powerful the further away they get from the foundation or source, then and given how we've already seen how powerful Psynergy is, both from the relatively weak forms that Jenna, Isaac, and Garrett can use in battle, and what Satoros and Minardi did to us when they were just the mysterious couple back in the prologue, wouldn't it make sense to say that the source of such power would be many, many times more powerful? It doesn't seem like a good idea to go meddling with things like this. But who knows? Maybe I'm just overthinking things. And of course, we have to go fetch the others. Because I'm sure this is just a case of me overthinking things like I always do. And not really a case of Camelot not having the best grasp of their own plot. Some of these things do start to make a little more sense later, but for some things, the plot holes are just entirely left unfilled. That's 2 out of 4 down. So far, nothing bad seems to be happening. So, maybe I was just overthinking things. I'm sure nothing bad will happen. So now let's come down here. Grab number 3 out of 4. And that's the Jupiter star in our possession. It makes the last of these pillars rise up out of whatever kind of liquid that is down there. We put the Jupiter star in a bag, and a cutscene takes over. Where's Kraden's usual encouraging message to go get the last one? Oh dear. Oh dear. And we finally spotted them. Satoros and Minardi thought they'd be safe until we'd gotten all 4 of the elements, but it seems our protagonist senses detected something was wrong before then. And Kraden finally realizes the truth, that they mean to steal the elemental stars. Satoros doesn't really care for that. After all, thieves is such an ugly word. And of course, as they are not entirely incorrect in pointing out, Kraden is technically the one who used their information. Jenna asks a very logical question. What will they do with them if they have the elemental stars? And Kraden is of course quick to jump to conclusions that they'll do them in once they're no longer needed. And we have another guest. It's that masked man that we met in the inn. Apparently they had some kind of agreement that no one would be hurt. But apparently that all depends on how well we cooperate. Apparently, as long as we hand over the elemental stars, Jenna and Kraden will be safe. That's supposedly enough. And the masked man seems to reluctantly agree. So, if we wish to save our friends, we have to hand over the elemental stars. I'm not so sure about this. Even if they are our friends, are 2 people really worth such powerful objects? If one of them could be used to conquer the entire world, why would we give all 4 to these people that have proven themselves to be nefarious and mysterious at best, or outright evil at worst? This is a decision that I'll need to think about for a little while. After all, I'm sure it won't be just like every other decision and have no impact at all in the long run. So, let's take a little pause here. Come back to this decision next time. So, until then, see you next time.